I'm Ted Oracle, and this is a reading for JW. JW wants to know, my question is regarding my mother. We've had a complicated relationship over the years, and it's really come to a head after I moved out of state with my husband and kids in 2018. There's a lot of tension since then that doesn't seem to be getting better. I'm not sure how to proceed anymore. I was hoping for some advice or an idea on how things can possibly play out. All right, JW, let's do a reading with the Thoth deck. Interesting cards. So one of the first cards we have is the Hermit. Did you leave her alone or something? Or did you reduce the amount of time that you spend contacting or talking with her? That seems to be the case. I mean, we have a clear indication of the Hermit, followed by, just sort of the friends and family card. It seems like that she feels cut off. So feels cut off from information. She feels cut off from the usual contact. I'm assuming maybe you had some contact, as well as she likes to give advice. She seems to be one of the, not a controlling, I'm going to say controlling, but I don't mean controlling. You know how moms like to give advice? And mom will give you advice, and you'll be like, thanks, mom, that's a good idea. And you'll take that. And it makes them feel kind of special. So it seems like that advice thing or the controlling thing is there, as well as she feels cut off. So it seems to be something to where she doesn't feel in the loop. So a lot of this has to do with communications. A lot of this has to do with some emotional insecurity on her side as well. It's one of those things to where it looks like she grew up, I guess, sort of in a family to where she had a certain amount of communication or a certain quality to her communication, and she had certain expectations about how she communicates with you and things like that that are not really coming to pass anymore. So again, obviously, the Hermit being one of the main things here. So you're asking me how to deal with it. So this is just my 2 cents. Never make drastic life changes based upon a fat man reading your tarot cards on YouTube. But I'm just saying it seems like you need to talk to her more. And the talking needs to involve not only, not superficial or useless information or small talk or something like that. Maybe, well, some of that, obviously. Any conversation has some small talk in it. But one of those things to where you ask for advice. And I think a lot of that is going to be cured once you up the communication. And that's the problem. See, there seems to be this downhill spiral when people get upset or people don't like communicating with someone. So, in other words, you'll talk to mom, and mom, is sort of aggravated, and so you'll talk less to mom because your interactions are bad. So then it goes downhill and downhill and downhill until pretty soon you're just avoiding her at all costs. And you see this a lot with different families. The one person in the family that's sort of the one that gives a lot of grief or whatever. Nobody really want to talk to him and things like that. So it's one of those things, again, she just feels alone. She lost that connection. She had a connection with you that was something that's important to her. Obviously, it's mom. But she just feels out of the loop. And so I would recommend that when you contact her, let her get in on the loop. In other words, give her some information. Give her the latest, not gossip, but give her the latest information on something. Like, so-and-so did this and this and this and this. And let her feel like she's a part of something, right? Like she's a part of something. You have that emotional communication, that emotional bond, that emotional connection that she feels left off of. And make sure it's an emotional communication, something, that's emotional. And it's going to be difficult because if she's being an ass when you call her, you don't really want to call her. So, but you're going to have to put up with that period as it progressively gets better. So up your level of communication. Make your communication emotional. Give her emotional information. This is how I feel about this. How do you feel about that? And make it a nice communication about emotions, not just small talk and more of a deep conversation. In addition, make sure that you ask for advice. I think her giving you advice is going to be something helpful. Say, Mom, I'm conflicted with this. I need to do this or that. What do you think? Not advice like should I pick this bacon, or this other bacon at the store or something. But I mean, like actual emotional advice. Like ask her for emotional advice or something to get that connection going, so she feels a part of your life. She feels a part of the communication. You've upped the communication. Now you're asking her for advice. And that's one of those things to where she likes to be in that controlling or that motherly aspect where she's giving the advice. And I think that she's going to come out of this sort of this emotional pool that she's in that's just no good. And the communication will improve and things like that. It's one of those things to where you have to start somewhere, and if you're really serious about it, I assume you are since you emailed me, then it's one of those things to where you need to do that. And I think it will improve. She does like, I mean, this is a second controlling card that we have. She does like to control. She does like to do things like that. And I think when you ask for advice, if she's controlling, as long as it's not a complete asshole type controlling, I think that, let her give a little bit about that, a little bit of that puppeteering that we have here within this card. Let her do a little bit of that, or let her think that she's doing a little bit of that. So she seems to like that. We have these two cards. So let her do a little of it, just improve her mood or improve that connection or something like that. Don't let her, ruin your life, obviously. But I mean, at some point, I do this with my mom. She likes to be controlling in some aspects, and so I'll ask her about something, and I'll pretend that I did it. Does that make me a terrible person? Maybe. So, but, I mean, one of those things I'll just ask, and my communication is really good because I'll let her get that out of her system. So, it's one of those things. It's a deep emotional pool, a deep emotional bond that you have that you're going to have to repair. It's not going to be something overnight, obviously. But I think it's going to be something special that you can have with your mom, and to remedy the relationship with just a few minor things. So plan the phone call. Make sure that you have that phone call that's a quality phone call. It has the emotional attachment. It has the advice. It has the let her be a little controlling or let her think she's controlling. Let it be deep and emotional connection and things like that, and up your communication level. And I think everything will work out. I think it'll get better, but obviously not overnight. Like I said, it's going to take some time. Master the obvious. You can't really fix a broken relationship overnight. So, but I think it's fixable. I think it's doable, and I think it's something that you can add quality to your life and keep the communication open with your mother. And moms are important. So, just my opinion. So anyway, that's my 2 cents, and that is your reading. If you would like a free reading, I think I'm the only one doing it right now. Email me at the email in the description. Now, keep in mind, I usually have a queue, so it could take up to a month for me to get to your reading. Just please be patient. And don't ask me about a question, this next week or something. Anyway, thank you for watching, and please hit like and subscribe.